Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Romance Nights. We are your hosts, Kolleen.
And I'm Marjorie. Today's episode, we have book influencer Amanda, aka Unhinged Amanda on TikTok. Welcome to the Unfiltered Romance Nights podcast, and we are so excited to have you and talk about horror/erotica romance recommendations.
I'm so excited to be here, and thank you so much for having me come on tonight. I'm so excited.
Good, of course. So let's start to get to know you a little bit. Now, do you remember when you first started Instagram or TikTok, and what was the reason?
So I actually started Bookstagram about a year and a half ago. I was kind of in a mental health kind of state, and nothing was working for me. And I've never been a big reader. Honestly, the only books I'd ever read was 50 Shades of Grey. So my mom got me the Sylvia Day series, the Crossfire series, and I devoured those books. So then she ended up getting me another series. I can't remember what it was, but I devoured that too. So she was like, you know what? Here's my Kindle Unlimited. There's tons of books on there. Just go at it. And that's like when I discovered lots of genres. So it's been about a year and a half. I was a little nervous at first when I got on. I might come off as a very outgoing person, but at first I'm a little bit shy. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So, but then it blossomed, and here I am now. Crazy.
Yeah. I love your videos. What was it? Did you do the one of you running in the woods or something? Like you were being chased?
Yeah, it was like how to have a masked man chase you through the woods, you know? I just come up with stuff. I just sit in bed and I'm like, oh, this is a great TikTok idea. So I just hurry up, make a quick sound, type what I'm going to do, and then I just go with it.
Nice.
Well, that's the key, because you want to be different from everybody else. I'm tired of seeing 100 people with the same music, holding up the same book. So I like originality.
Yeah, that's the same way I am too. I know that a lot of people, especially with the bigger authors, a lot of them tend to stick to the bigger authors, where I am very much about the indie authors and new authors coming out. So I try to do a lot. If I see a new author that is coming out with a book, I always try to ARC read or promote them or read their books just to get them out there, because there are so many different authors that are just so underrated that nobody knows about, because a lot of the time it's just big authors that you see. So
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, today I was doom scrolling while I was working, and I'm just like, I get it. She has the release day today, but if I this book 10 more times every time I scroll back to back, I'm gonna throw my phone. I'm happy that it's release day for that author, but I'm like, I don't want to see the same damn book 10 times.
I feel too.
So do you remember the first author you ARC read for?
The first author I ever ARC read for was Brooklyn Cross. This was before I had just started Book Talk, and it was actually through agency. I think it's called Buzz Boyfriend, and they had Malice, and I was like, oh well, this sounds good. So she is actually my first ever ARC read, and it's really funny because she actually book ferried me one day. Aww. And I opened it in my car, and I was bawling my eyes out. I was like, my first ever ARC read, and I always tell people that too. Whenever I read for her, she is literally the person who got me into ARC reading and wanting to do it. The agency I went through was amazing. She was amazing with my feedback and stuff. It was a positive experience that made me want to continue to keep doing it. So she's amazing. I just love her so much.
Yeah, she's super nice.
Mm-hmm.
You need to read.
Well, today's topic is horror erotica. And off the top of your head, can you just pick one of your favorites? You don't have to call it your top favorite, but one of your favorites.
Oh, my top favorite is Sinister Legacy by Harley Beck. She's my horror erotica queen. She just is pure Pure magic. She, that was actually the first ever horror erotica book I read was Sinister Legacy.
Okay.
And, I read it and I was like, I don't know if I should like this. Like, this is like teetering the line of extremely inappropriate, but it's kind of nice though.
It does. I mean, like, Kolleen knows this. I barely do taboo. Like, I have to be like, okay, I have to like be in it, like wanting to read it. So like my very first like taboo that I really liked was Kinsley Kincaid, Ghost Dick. Well, I listened I listened to the audio for it. So I was like, and I was working while I was listening to this, and I'm just like laughing out loud. I even totally forgot that they're like uncle niece, but they've never met. So I was just like, whatever, they never met. It's fun. And then, you know, as you read the story, I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's fine or not, but whatever, it works. This is, you know, I enjoyed it. Like, and I'm just like texting Colleen, I was like, I don't know if I should enjoy this or not, but you know, like maybe, you know, I'll keep reading more eventually since they're like very short. But I was just like, I don't know about taboo, because I always tell her, it's like, taboo is like the one thing that I would not read or whatever. And then I read this and I was like, okay, that's not bad. Like, as far as getting into the genre.
Yeah, like, I didn't think I was gonna like. So here's the thing with taboo. Like, I read a lot of taboo, and I've read, you know, like full blood taboo, and I've read like just, you know, the uncle and niece. I also read Ghost Stick and stuff. And I just keep reminding myself that like it's fictional, but then I'm like, yeah, like it's just like the way that they write it though is so good that you sometimes just forget that they're related. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I fucking love it. I love it. Right? I don't know what that says about me, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, like, when I was reading, I was like, do I even want to do like a video for this shit? And I'm like, I mean, because it's like not, you know, the usual that I would review or anything like that on my page. And I'm just like, whatever, fuck it. Like, just, I enjoyed it. If people don't like it, scroll through it, like, whatever.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like, you know, I've had a couple of people like, why, you know, like, why do you read that stuff? And I was just like, you know, it like, you can watch the same stuff on TV, and a lot of people see it on TV, and it's the same thing. And it's just, it's not a matter of like, I'm not going to go out and do that. You know, like, I'm not going to go to my brother and be like, hey, you know, no, you know, but I think it's just like the way that they write it, especially with taboo, and when you're like in a family dynamic. I'm more of like the step siblings kind of, like the step siblings is my favorite of all time.
Me too.
They're, you know, like they just have that already connection, or they have like that angst that turns into like the enemies to lovers, which I love too. So it's just like a whole lot of different things balled into one, and it's just, you just can't help but just eat it up. So.
Wait, Marjorie, didn't you read, you didn't read Sutton Asylum?
No, you read that one.
Oh, I know, I read it.
No,
Did you read it?
I sure did. I sure did.
I have a book.
That's like horror erotica. I mean, in a sense, I mean, everyone's getting killed and everyone's, well, the twins are going at it. And you know what? The little piece of my brain is saying, but what happens if she gets pregnant? Like, I'm always thinking of like, but if she gets pregnant, then what? Like, it's a book.
Going to like that one state in the U.S.
I always do.
Like, that's like, we're not like going. We're gonna go. What do they call it? Happily ever after for now, or like happily for now? And they like
happy for now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I haven't. It's on my list to read.
Yeah,
probably
it's on my list to read too.
Good.
Whoops, sorry. I thought you read it.
I actually have the book. But I have like, there is a certain word. There's a certain word that I don't like particularly love the most, and I'll still read it. But like milking milking, and I heard there's lots of milking in that book. So I'm like, I have to get myself prepared to hear that milking, She
She's like, she doesn't even remember. Like, did you actually read it? Or you forgot it?
I did, the twins. And
well,
I heard it was really spicy and really good. And I was like, I'm so excited to read it. I gotta prep myself for this milking job because I
don't even remember them using that term, but I was too involved in everything else that was happening. It's wild.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing that it's not even like a bad phrase. It's the big dick. No. It's like I'm just like over it. So I'm trying to read that author with the new because it was mafia, and I'm just like, I'm in a slump. I need to read this, and usually this author can get me out of a slump, but I'm like always preparing myself for how many times he's gonna use big dick to describe the
or
guys.
Fat cock.
Or fat. I'm just like, it's like a running joke between the two of us because I'm reading his backlist and then his new books, and it's always like fat cock, big dick. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's like he drops his pants. You're gonna say it's a big dick. Like I haven't.
Right. It's just like trying to remind you throughout the story, that it's got a fat cock.
Gotten from like 3 pages ago. So now I'm just like having to prepare myself. So I haven't I'm just gonna reread. I'll read it eventually. Like get out of this. Yeah. Okay, so let's say I'm new to this, subgenre. What would be a good book to start with?
So, I think if you're gonna dip your toes into horror erotica, I mean that's a big plunge to go into. I mean, because you're. It's kind of, when people are like, oh, dark romance, you're like, okay, well, you can start here and then work your way up. And it's like, horror erotica, you're like, okay, well, ma'am.
Okay. But I'm telling you, okay, I just finished an L. Kennedy book, but I want to try horror erotica. Where should I start?
L. Kennedy to wanting a horror?
Yeah, well.
I think you need to get some wine and relax a little.
You should dip into dark romance before you go to horror.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
L. Kennedy.
I always recommend Harley Beck. One of my friends had just started reading horror erotica, and I recommended The Sweet Taste of Betrayal by her. It's a very, very, very small novella. A lot of stuff is packed inside of it, but it's definitely something small, quick to get you prepared for like what you might be reading when you are reading horror erotica. She definitely, she definitely writes a little bit less intense horror erotica than what I have read. So she's usually my go-to of who I recommend.
Did you read, this was a tough one. Did you read Pet Motel?
No. Who's that by?
I wrote it down.
Yeah, see, I gotta know now.
Oh, God. It's Kitty King.
Yes, I think that's on my team. Was it just her, or did she co-write with somebody?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It might have been just her.
I think I know that I've heard that book, and I know that I have it on my TBR. I did not know that that was a horror erotica though. Is it pretty?
It was wild.
Really?
I will tell you this, there is not a happily ever after. Not at all. Not even close.
No, thank you.
I mean, just go with the name. I told you about it. I was like I needed a minute. I was like, wow, that was wild.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I don't know if you've read the book yet. It's called My Girl by Audrey Rush.
No, but I've read her books before.
Yeah, that book. had me questioning a lot of things.
Really?
And I was like, ooh, like this is definitely, like horror erotica, like teetering, like splatterpunk. It was very big on the horror part and the different elements inside of like an erotica. It was an intense book. I had to stop a couple of times because I was like, one minute I'm like, ugh, next one I'm like, wow, that's nice. And then I'm like,
God, really? Oh,
it's so bad.
I think the only book that I was like gagging, literally. I was just like, I don't even know why I arc read for this. I didn't think it was gonna be that. I'm not even gonna say who it is, but I feel this.
My TBR, Marjorie.
Wait, this author is like in trouble a couple weeks ago, so I don't know if I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I think you read that book. You had to have read that book.
Right? Is that the one you're talking about?
The Mayo
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Mayo.
So there's another book that this author actually wrote. That is, I would consider a horror erotica. I think she considers, I don't know what she really considers it, but there's a scene in it, it's Frankenpeen, where like the girl literally like chops off, like they kill a guy, she chops off his you-know-what, and then makes the guy she's with wear it as a condom, and then has her, and I'm like, and she calls it the Frankenpeen. So
now
What the
wait, so you had to literally like
follow it
out, yeah.
she muscle. It's not like it's just skin.
Like there was a part in the book where like she, like the first person, because they like went on this like spree of just like offing like people that picked them up to hitchhike, and so like the first person they got, she like wanted like the other guy to fuck her while she was like fucking the dead corpse, and he's like, whoa, like I'm not doing this again. He's like, we are not doing this, and she's like, okay, well, how about this? And then she's like, the Frankenpeen. I'm like, how is he better?
No. Also, it's like, did they even, okay, so I know it's fictional, but it's kind of like diseases. I don't know. Did you clean it? Did you sanitize it after you hollowed it out? Like, that's just.
She was just winging life. I mean, she was just hitchhiking on the side of the road, like no care in the world. So I don't think, she should.
Please.
It's like, as a reader, like sometimes I'm just like, there are things that literally like, it's okay reading it. I would still not find it sexy or whatever. I mean, there's not a lot that I wouldn't find sexy in a book. But like thinking to myself, it's like, I wouldn't even do that. I clean my bathroom and I don't even like kneeling in my bathroom. Like, I don't know. Like, I clean my bathroom. Like, how of these people like random bathroom or like, they're just, especially like with college romance. It's like the dorms and stuff. And I'm like, come on. Not everyone in that fucking dorm cleans that well.
No.
Funny thing about reading too is like when you're reading a book, any kind of book, honestly, and you're reading certain things and you're like, this is totally acceptable. And then you're like, everyday life, you're like the same exact thing. You're like, this is not, like, this is fucking unacceptable. You know what I mean? Right. Like, it's acceptable in a book for yourself, but like, but in real life.
Well, yeah, I mean, even that. Yeah, I think I don't really gag a lot with, I read Butcher and Blackbird. There's that accidental cannibalism in there. I was like, I didn't really gag when she was like describing it. But yeah, that specific mayo jar, I'm just like, now I can't look at that stupid jar in my fridge. I actually like grab it, throw it out. Like it's not even expired. Throw it out. I don't want to see it. I don't want it in my fridge. My husband's like, you're stupid. And I'm just like, whatever. It's not my fault. Blame the author. They were the one who ruined it. Like,
right. Yeah, like horror erotica does a lot. I've noticed too when I'm reading them, they do a lot, very well. The authors do very well with ruining foods for you, whether it's coffee creamer or spaghetti or, you know what I mean? And then you're just like, you just look at it and you're like, yeah, I don't want that.
I have to, I think if I know that the author is gonna ruin the food. I need to know which food, so I know to like skip it, like, or I'm not even gonna read the book because if it's my favorite, then I'm just like, no, thank you.
Right.
That's why, like,
I'm not a big mayo fan.
like Butcher and
Either way.
Blackbird. It took me a little bit to eat ice cream, and ice cream is like my favorite dessert. It's like if I'm like working or whatever, it's something that I can eat while I'm working. And I think what did me in was because he made his own ice cream, and I know how to make my own ice cream. So it's just like making my own ice cream. I'm like, great. Now I'm just like, or like my husband's making it, and I'm like, what did you put in there?
Yeah, you just watch them.
Let me see
Oh.
the ingredients that you put in there. He's like, why? Just measure it in front of me so I know what ingredients.
Oh God.
I was like, don't even ask. So that's why I was okay when she ruined, or like she said she was ruining beer and pizza for everyone. And I was like, I don't care. I don't drink. I don't eat pizza that often, so I'm okay. Like,
No, nothing would ruin pizza for me. Not, I'm gonna eat it. Now, I know that I've heard like questions whether or not you believe that horror erotica should have a happily ever after. Some people say yes, some people say no. I've read both. So what do you think about that?
So I honestly, I'm not a huge fan of non-HEAs at all.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I think I guess it depends on how well it's presented. For like the Sweet Twisted Portrayal by Harley Beck, it's a non-HEA, but the way that it happened, you're kind of like, yes, you know what I mean? Because the person who you thought was like this great guy turned up to be the villain. So like you were rooting for them. Yeah. So I think when it comes to something like that, like how much of a villain is that MMC to where you're like, do I really want him to be with her, or is it okay if she just, or the same, with the FMC, with the MMC. So I think it kind of depends on how the storyline is. But I've read a handful of horror eroticas, and some have ended on an HEA, and I was kind of like you, and then some not HEA, and I liked it. So
I feel like for my own mental health, I need a happily ever after, or else it's going to sit with me for like weeks.
Well, I feel like we're gonna call it romance. I feel like it should end in HEA.
Yeah, well, I guess it's not really romance.
Just me, like, because then you should just say it's horror erotica, so that I'd be like,
yeah.
I'm not. There could be an HEA, there could not be. But if you like say it's a romance, they better like, after all the shenanigans that happens, they better have like a HEA.
Right. Well, and I think it's hard of like teetering the line too. I think a lot of people are starting to get into the horror erotica genre, and I think that especially with romance books, you most likely will see an HEA.
Yeah.
So I think when they think of, like a horror erotica, a lot of people like misplace it as a romance. So it kind of gives the impression that it's going to be an HEA. Because with a horror erotica, I think it does state like, don't expect an HEA because, 90% of the time you're not going to get that, so yeah.
No, I mean, that makes sense. I think like I've seen where it shouldn't be considered dark romance when it's actually horror erotica, and I'm just like, wait, why did you put this as dark romance? Because this is not dark romance where there's like bordering kind of like, is this even really romance, or is it just like this girl is like just brainwashed at this point kind of.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen, like, I won't say the book, but like I've seen a book where it is a very disturbing book, it is a very dark book, and I've seen like, people recommend it as a horror erotica, and it is straight dark horror. Like there's literally no erotica. Like it's a very, very dark book. And I'm just like, I think like I think when it comes to like wrecking books, I think sometimes people have to be like a little bit more like researching, especially like with a book like that, with it being so dark and the really like disturbing elements in the book. You know, if you say to somebody, hey, it's a horror erotica, and they pick up this book and see like, you know, chapter 6 and what happens, and they're going to be like, where is the erotica in this? You know, like this is bad, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's so hard though. Again, it's so hard to state like what is what nowadays, with any kind of genre and any kind of book. So,
Right.
I feel like on the book that we were talking about, I mean, at this point we can just, I'll take it. I'll take the hit. In the book Captured, I would have, it was me. I feel like I would have been happier had they not been together in the end. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is a book that I feel like it should have been a happy ever after. Her on her own, I got away.
Right. Well,
That's my opinion.
And I don't think it should be called dark romance because there's no romance in the book. I don't feel like there was romance at all. Like, I don't
Dark
know.
Stockholm syndrome. No.
yeah, again, it's like teetering the line, you know, like the things that happened in that book, you know, were extremely dark.
Mhm.
You know, what happened to her, you know,
Wild.
for me, it wasn't very romantic, you know, like, I don't know what the fuck was romantic about
How
that.
did you meet Dad? Well, he hit me over the head in the parking lot of the diner I worked at.
And that's my thing. I was like, there's no room. I mean, might be for his side, but not on her part. Like on her part, she's just like trying to survive and not get offed. Like,
You're right.
she's just trying to like not get killed and be like, oh, maybe I'll get a chance and get away. Like, there's no romantic. Like, I mean, the only time I think that she thought that he's attractive was at the diner when he was eating before she got kidnapped. That's
I mean, she didn't, you know, like
that's the only time that she thought that he was attractive. That's it. But there's nothing like, oh, I'm gonna sleep with this guy or whatever. Like, not even an inkling. And then she gets kidnapped, and then we're gonna live at your old house. Okay.
Didn't the dad die there or something?
Well, yeah, somebody killed him, right?
I don't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, like the guy killed him or something like that, and then they fixed it up, and I was like,
yeah, fixed it up.
I don't know what I read, but okay, like,
yeah. Oh shit, that's funny.
So I was just like, but I definitely said I'm not reviewing this. I'm sorry, like, I'm not reviewing.
I reviewed it either. I was just like, so like. If there's a book where I clearly am like, yeah, this is not dark romance, or yeah, this is, you know, I kind of just, I'll read it and then that'll be that. So, yeah, I didn't review that book either, even though I liked it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was just like, what the fuck? It's one of those books that you're like, what the fuck did I just read? Like,
I think I remember like talking to somebody because like this person didn't read it, but I was like, Mark reading it, and I was like, I don't know why the fuck I'm reading this or why the fuck I signed up for it. And this person was like, it's DNF, and I was like, no, I feel bad because they're like, you know, indie author. I'm like, I signed up for it. I read the triggers, like the trigger warning. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I've read darker shit than that. Thinking because it says dark romance, and I'm like, okay, it's dark romance, whatever, you know. I've seen like captured romance, I've read captured romance, and not to this extent, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit? And then, you know, like the group chat's like, this is amazing, and I was like, did you guys read the same thing I did, or like what? Oh, okay, sure. And I was just like, deuces, I'm out.
It was like they took that Jennifer Hartman book. What was it called? Oh shit, Still Beating, and they turned it into a horror movie. That's just what it, because wasn't that similar? Like, sort of like in the basement.
Locked in the basement, and
I still need to.
But yeah, but that was an HEA. Like at the end, the brother-in-law or whatever he was, soon-to-be brother-in-law and everything, and then you have the creepy old guy. But then you just have these guys, like literally, that just like, oh, I'm gonna take you, and then we're gonna do things, and you're just gonna, you're gonna like it, even though you don't like it.
Pretty much. Yeah,
it'll be all right. You'll learn to like me.
Yeah. That was like, I think that's like the wrong book to start with horror erotica. Just saying, like that was.
Why not? That is definitely. I do not recommend that as a first time read.
I'm gonna tell you then. If that was, don't read Pet Motel then.
Oh, I love it. Oh, is it bad? I'm so excited though. I'm so intrigued. That's the problem with me though. Is like if somebody's like, "Oh man, this book was like so disgusting and vile," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
I need it." Like I need to just, I need to know what it's about, because if I don't read it, then I'm gonna be like,
it's exactly how it sounds. Period.
Yeah. Pets?
No.
Oh.
No. No animals were harmed.
Going. Okay.
No animals were harmed in this book.
I'll tell the lie. That's right.
You just said it sounds like what it is. Well, the title's Pet Motel, and I'm like,
no.
Motels for pets? I don't know.
Are they making these people their pets? I'm okay with that. If that's where we're going, okay, but
no animals.
At least make them shippers or something.
Oh my God. Don't even say that, because now you just made me think of this movie that I'm sure neither of you have ever heard of.
Which one? You never know.
Walrus?
No, never.
No.
I'm good. I mean,
oh.
So it's a horror movie, but it's like, I did not, I've seen short pieces of it because I get sick. Like, you had to have heard of the movie Human Centipede, right?
Yeah.
That movie is disgusting.
You did?
I watched the whole thing. It was like,
what?
Well, at first I was like, oh, this is, because I'm like, okay, this was when Netflix still had those.
That was on Netflix?
It was like a DVD, like you can borrow the DVD. There were new ones kind of thing. So it was like one of those, and I was like, and I like horror movie, gory and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. So I was just like, borrowed it and stuff. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure I should not be watching this because this is like horrible. But then I was just like, well, now I need to see what happens because this is an experiment for this guy. And I'm just like, I need to see. And I'm just like, I felt so bad for the person in the middle because it was like when those cops came in, the person in the middle, she was the only one that was alive. Both ends were dead. And she was just
that movie was so.
The only reason that he did it was just to see how it would work, like feed the first person and then how it goes.
Oh God! I remember I was pregnant with my son when I saw the clip. I didn't even watch it because I saw the clip and how that middle person gets fed. I'm like,
that's what he was.
I was sick.
Yeah. Well, and then they made a second movie.
They made like 3 of them.
Oh, they made a third one. I was like,
yeah.
So the second one, I seen bits and pieces, but I was like, but it's not even interesting. Like, because at least the other one was like a surgeon. I think at least he knew what he was kind of doing. This one was like he copied whatever, and they were like in a disgusting place, and I was like, that's no wonder everybody was dying.
Third one, the jail.
Yeah, something like that. Like, yeah, it was just like,
yeah. I stayed away after I saw the first one. I was like, I'm not watching this shit.
I'm like nauseous thinking about it. All right, let's switch gears here because I can't. I'm gonna be sick.
Hey,
I'm sorry. That's a trigger for me in a book. If anyone's no one's shitting in anyone's mouth.
Yeah. I'm not reading it. Yeah, I'm not reading it either.
No. See, I thought I was going to gag when you're watching it, but like if you're reading it, I'm pretty sure I'll be like, no, I'm going to throw this fucking book. Like, it's just, nope. No. Yeah. Wait, where are we now? I lost well, you kind of like said splatterpunk earlier. So do you also read those books? And if you do, what is one of your favorite?
So I have read also a handful of splatterpunk books. Those are definitely extreme. Like those
What is that? What is that
pure
splatterpunk?
nastiness.
Human centipede.
It's like human centipede stuff. It's just literally what it is. It's just if you're going into that book, like make sure you're not eating or have like a full stomach because it's just disgusting. Actually, one of my friends, JR, he's on Book Talk. He is like the splatter punk king. He is actually the person he like begged me and begged me and begged me to read this book. Yep, I forgot the name of it. I have really bad memory, but
Me too.
I can't remember what it's called. But it was a very dark book. It's like these two boys were out in the woods and they were shooting like this gun, and then they heard a woman screaming, so they went in like farther into the woods, and there was like a cabin there, and this woman's got like an axe hanging out of her head, and she's running through the woods, and then there's like this creepy scrawny guy, so he ends up capturing them all, and he ties them in the basement, and then he is literally doing, it's gross. It's really gross. Like one of the boys, he has the barbed wire, and he wouldn't stop like talking, so he took the barbed wire and like wrapped it around. Yeah, it's very, very dark. Very disgusting. I have read a couple of them that I like really enjoy, which CM Goodrow, she writes some pretty good splatterpunk books that I like. Just yeah, it's not. It's yeah. It's like Human Centipede times 3.
Oh,
It's not for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely. I use it as a. I don't want to say palate cleanser because that's not a palate cleanser, but like.
I feel like that's like more. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it then.
I don't even. Yeah, it's just like if I'm feeling a little bit
reset. I can totally see it being a reset. Like you just need your braids scrambled, and now you're ready to go.
Yeah, like what did I get? Like this is why I read dark romance. So let's go back to that.
Yeah, at that point after you probably read that, like give me some like happy, fluffy romance.
It's like you read a book like that, and then you're like, okay, like dark romance is like fluffy compared to this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let me get back to that.
No. Yeah, see, I
love it.
It's like I can't, like with how dark the dark romances that I read, I can't read a lot of, I guess, contemporary, quote and unquote contemporary.
I know.
Because now I'm just like, the fuck am I reading? Like, it's like not even like a slow burn, but to me, it's like, oh my god, can somebody just like slap somebody or something? Like, you guys just touch each other or something just to give me something in there. Like bully each other or something like that, just to have something. I mean, I love Anna Huang, but like I have to be in the mood for it because like when I started reading again, I read her a while back, so I loved her. So and she's not really dark, or I don't even think she's dark anymore. Like now that I've read a bunch, so it's kind of like I love her writing, but I feel like they're so slow burn. Like for me, they feel like they're slow burn, but they're not. I know that they're not. It's just I have to stick to my dark romance, I guess.
Yeah. Or read splatterpunk, and then you're going to need something comforting.
I like gory movies. So I think I'm just gonna watch a gory movie because at least like I'll forget.
Go watch Walrus.
Nope.
Let's see. I think the last gory movie I watched was one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or like one of the Saw movies. Which I know people are just like, oh, those are scary. Not really, but okay. Like they're just gory.
They're right. They're like the right amount of gory. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
this is like my favorite time of year because like they play all those different horror movies, and
I used to love Friday the 13th, which is like the reason I could not go camping when my husband's like, oh, let's go into the woods. Go fuck yourself. You can go. I'm not going. And he's like, why? don't you remember Jason? And he's like, he's not real. I don't fucking care because there's gonna be somebody stupid enough that's gonna do that shit. Like, no, thank you. Like, I'm not going to the woods. I like watching them. I mean, it's the same thing as him. He hates Chucky. So, like, if we go to Spirit of Halloween, and I was like, I love that. I watched that when I was like younger. Like, you know, we're like, oh, let's watch horror movie because I started watching at like 5 or 6. So I like horror movies. And he's like, I think one time I was like, oh, let's go get my son a Chucky costume when he was younger. And he's like, I would murder you. Like, you did that. I was like, oh, what's wrong with Chucky? Chucky's funny. He's like, hi, I'm Chucky. And then he's like, he was just like, hates it because apparently somebody told him he should watch it. He thought that it was like, you know, because it's a doll. Yeah. And come to find out, he watched it when he was a kid and nightmares about it. I was like, oh, but I love Chucky because Chucky's funny. I think he's funny. Like, not the new.
He is kind of funny.
He's funny. I just think
my son was just watching it. I want him to dress up from like Chucky for years now because he kind of looks like him. He's got like the freckles and he's got like reddish blonde hair. So I'm like, please. He's like, no.
Oh, my son doesn't like it because his dad's like, you should not like it. Like, so now he's like, he hasn't even seen it. Or like he's seen pictures or like when we walk around like with the Halloween costume, he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm just like, like, you don't even know what it is about, and you're like hating on Chucky. You've never seen it. And I'm just like,
you should write a book.
Huh?
Yeah. Doll. I mean, if they can write a book about a girl falling in love with her door. And
my favorite book, by the way. That is why my name is Unhinged Amanda, by the way.
Is that what?
Yes. That's why I have a door in my name, too, on TikTok. Like, that is my...
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That is my favorite book.
So maybe someone can fall in love with the doll, a Chucky doll. Like, it can be like Horror Erotica.
I mean,
one of you can write that book.
Anything is possible. The possibilities are endless, so...
Give the Horror Erotica to, like, good, awesome writer that writes those. I'm gonna keep to my lane.
Just throwing it out there. Just seeing if it would stick.
I still need to read that because that sounds interesting. Yeah. Like, the door.
I know.
Have you read the door book?
No.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to read it in the future, and then we'll have to have you back on so we can then talk about it.
Oh, my gosh. I would love everything about that. Everything.
Okay.
45-minute conversation about this fucking door.
Well, she has Vera Valentine literally has so many books. I actually just did a book. I did a book talk today that I have saved, like books that made you go, what the fuck? And she wrote a book called Squeak, and it's about 2 guys who have balloon animals as penises. And yeah, just, you know, she just writes, like, her stories are just off the top. So she's got like a door. She's got like a well one. She's got a Kool-Aid Man one, a scarecrow. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read it yet, but I have it. I just haven't.
What is this? Drown myself in it?
I know. They're just, her books are so unhinged. They're just, you just keep reading them. Like, you just can't stop because you have to know what is happening, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to do that.
Well, I do the scheduling on this, so I'm gonna put it on our calendar, so I'll have to remember. Hey, we finally read it. Here you go. We're gonna come back.
We're talking about a love story about a girl and her door.
I can't wait. And, you know, a lot of people were like, I'm never going to read this. I'm never going to read it. It's, you know, like, who wants to read that? So for my birthday, like, a bunch of people read it for my birthday, and they were like, wow, this was actually really good. Like, it was funny. And I was like, yeah, exactly. See? Like, just because she gets it on with a door, you know what I mean? Don't like
it could work. That it works. Know that thing.
It works.
Because I don't know.
Well, described in the book, I think the handle's pretty
girthy.
I think she.
Yeah, You're talking about doors. That's
Night.
what happens. I mean, okay. Considering half of the books that we read, they're always 12-inch. A girl is holding it in two hands and it's still not.
Yeah, it's the size. It's the thickness of a soup can. It's the size.
Like, I mean, a door handle. I'm pretty sure you can handle at this point.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. So I haven't tried it myself, so we know. No.
Have you seen that girl on TikTok that has the thing where she
with the tape measure? She's like, "This is good," and then she's like, "This is. I'm going in the hospital."
Just like I'm dying or I'm dead or
right. I'm dead.
I was like, well, I mean, if you put it that way, like literally using a tape measure, and I'm be like, oh yeah, can you imagine like sucking that thing? It's like it's not happening. Like just not happening.
Right.
And I was like, oh. But like when you're reading it, you don't think about it. Oh, 12 inches is like whatever. That's not big until you actually take it out and be like, oh no, I stand corrected. It's actually long.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just put that weapon away. Like we're not gonna play with that today.
I don't know if you've watched Girls Trip, that movie Girls Trip. Yeah, so there was a scene where she's finally like one of the women is finally getting some action or whatever, and somebody told her, it was like, okay, if you're gonna like suck somebody's, like just use a grapefruit, hollow it out, so that way you're not like going deep throating it. Well, they were all like, she ended up getting 2 big grapefruits to use, right? Because for her to not like all go all the way down. Well, I guess the grapefruit juice went inside the guy's pee hole. And all you could hear was just this guy screaming, what the fuck did you do? Like, what is this? Like, are you crazy? Like, get it off of me or something. Like how is this disgusting? Because, like, the grapefruits were huge. Well, obviously, I mean, it's like, it's a movie, so it's an exaggeration. But I was just, like, thinking, like, half of the books should incorporate those fruits, I guess. So you're not like...
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh boy. Okay. So what is one trope that you will absolutely not read?
Honestly, I will read all of them. I'm all about giving them a chance. One trope that I'm particularly not a fan of, and it honestly will almost instantly turn me off from a book, is the cheating trope. I'm not a fan of cheating. So I guess, like, okay, let me be specific here. So I don't, like, people don't come at me with pitchforks. So like when it's cheating not between the FMC and the MMC. So if it happens with other people, I'm fine with whatever, do your thing. But if it is like if it's the main characters doing it, I'm instantly just completely turned off by it. I don't even want to read it at all, and that sucks. But I haven't actually read a cheating book yet. So cross my fingers. I think, but yeah, I go ahead.
I'm with you on that one. I mean, it's more or less like anything. Well, or I guess perfect example, that one book. The FMC is in a relationship, but she wants to break up with the guy, but she wouldn't do it. But then she's having a relationship with the male main character. And I'm just like, just fucking break up with the guy. Like, I cannot do this. Like, but I pushed myself through it to like finish it because I bought the audiobook. I'm like, I have to do it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when every time somebody's like, oh, there's a cheating trope, it's like not between the main characters. And it's like, yeah, but they're still cheating. Like, I don't, like, if it was like, oh, he cheated on me, we broke up, and then I met the male main character, then that's different, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, part of the story, and I'm just like, no, thank you. Like, I don't care how amazing this book is. I'm just like, no, I'm just going to miss out on that book kind of thing.
Right. And I get like it's fictional and stuff like that, but it's just like, when you're reading a book, you're having this, FMC and this MMC that the whole storyline is between them and you're wanting that HEA. And it's just so hard to like, realistically, realistically, if you're reading a book, it's hard to see an HEA follow through when you have cheating involved. It's like, okay, well, again, it's fictional, but like in the real world, that is,
right.
It's not going to happen. So it's hard, okay, well, I'm so glad you guys have an HEA right now, but in book 2, like, are you going to cheat again? Like, like what's going to happen?
Right. I gotcha. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know it's a tough one to get over.
Kolleen, did you read that had that where they were cheating on each other or something like that?
Oh, just now? The other day? The one I was telling you about?
I don't know, like you... I know you read something. I thought, like...
But then turns out it wasn't really cheating because she's got split personality, so it was the same person. So that was a whole nother...
That worked. Is that cheating? Like, what is that?
Listen, I skipped. I was getting too fucking nervous. I was like, this book is stressing me out. This love triangle. I messaged her. I said, I'm at the last chapter. I just got to know if this ends in a happy ever after. And
it didn't, right?
It was like, I don't even know if there's a book 2. It's like sort of like a cliffhanger. And it was just a fuck show. I was like, I can't. I just couldn't do it.
Well, I did tell her, I was like, that's what you get for like signing up for arcs that authors that you don't know.
Listen, I like to do that every once in a while. Sometimes I'm surprised.
You were surprised.
Surprisingly enough, you got surprised.
I know. I'm done now. I'm not doing it anymore.
Do you are you planning on attending book signings, conventions next year?
So maybe, I'll be honest with you, I have like social anxiety. So those kind of scare me a little bit, like a whole like group of like people like just clustered together. Because I really, really, really wanted to go to Sinners and Stardust because literally all of my favorite authors are going to be there. And I was so sad because I was just like, I just can't, like, I'm just not there yet to be able to just be around a whole, like, it's going to be insane with how many authors they have. So would I love to go to one? Absolutely. I just don't think right now it's in my cards. So
no, that's understandable. I mean, I went to the one back in August and I was just like, it's like, I don't have social anxiety, but like, I'm not a people person. So kind of like,
I don't like.
I have like that RBF.
Not me either.
Majority of the time, so and I'm just like, I'm probably gonna get like called out for like having RBF, but at this point, I was like, that's my face. I don't really change my mask or anything like that. But like if I have to be nice, I'm gonna be nice. Like I'm not gonna be like a total douche or whatever. But I also don't like. I mean,
that was a big one too, right?
I'm not popular.
It was like 2 floors.
Yeah. I'm not popular enough for people to know who I am, so I'm just like,
oh, you stop it.
So bye. Everybody knew who you were.
We are not talking about that over here.
I wasn't there, but I know everybody knew who you were.
Like, you were
You know what I recommend? Because I'm with you. I can't do big like things. It's like stresses me out, and I'll probably have to take 2 pills that day. But go to a smaller one. Like I went to, which one did I go to? Oh, they don't have it anymore, but Book Bitches on the Beach. That was in Destin. I don't know where you live, but like
I'm in New York State.
Oh, did you? I used to live in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lived on Long Island.
Oh, no way. Yeah, see, I don't like people, so I don't live in the city.
No.
Too many people.
No. Yeah, so I went to a smaller one in Florida, and it was okay because it was only like 60 authors, and there weren't big authors there, so it wasn't too crazy. What are we going to go to? Wanderlust. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
I
not a
heard
big
about
one.
that.
Yeah. And I think it's only like one day. It's like on a Saturday, they have like designated, well, like they'll close it down for like an hour for lunch and then come back and do the signing and stuff. And I'm pretty sure they have like less than 60 vendor or author vendors and narrators and stuff like that. So it's very small. I mean, if it's like one,
Mhm.
I'll be like, I'm okay. I know San Antonio. I lived in Texas before, so I was just like, that's fine. Because as much as I did enjoy Sinners and Stardust, it was just too many people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, going up and down, even if there's an elevator, it's just like, it's too much. I have like a crate that I'm like lugging around with all my books that I overspend. It was just like, that's too much. And then with the ball, this past one, we had to walk somewhere else to go to the ball.
Wow.
Yeah, because I guess there was a wedding, probably that was booked.
Okay.
But I know, like next year they're doing the ball in the hotel. It's just like, I mean,
It's just it looked very compacted. Like when I was seeing the pictures and stuff, it just looked like there was like barely like not a lot of room to move and stuff. And I was just like,
yeah.
You know, do I really want to be that close to people?
I know. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah. So there was part like one side. It's almost like all the popular authors were in that one side. So it was hard to move around. Like there was one point where you can't go around like this. You have to like come back out because they blocked off a section. And then the other side of the hall or whatever they call it wasn't a lot. So I was just like hanging around, walking around on that side because there's not a lot of people. And then the the one below, the floor below, was a lot smaller room and was also compact. And I'm just like, I can't do this. The walkway that they have is blocked because each side have a line. And I'm like, I want to walk. I want nope. And then, you know, like everybody's just like trying not to hit each other's crate and stuff. And I'm just like, this is too much. Like I enjoyed seeing the authors that I wanted to see. Thankfully, I didn't have to see all the authors because I was like, that's a little bit much. I had a list and I was just like, thank God it was only one. Like the one author that I wanted to see had like an 8-hour wait for a line. Like I didn't get to see her the next day, but that's fine. I was like, as long as I got to see her, but they have a good lineup next year.
Yeah, that's why I was so sad because I'm like Lola King. I love Lola King, and I love Harley Beck is going to be there, and Marie Rose is going to be there, and you know, like it's just like all of my auto by authors are going to be at this convention, and I was just like, I need to go, and then I was like, you know. It's fine because I have signed books by them and everything's okay. And like, I can still buy, support them and still buy books from them on their Etsy or whatever. It's just like, I just, I'm not a huge like physical person, but like if Harley Beck was standing in front of me, I'd maul her. I would just be like, call the cops, baby, because we're going to hug it out for like 10 minutes and then you can just do whatever. But
yeah, I saw the lineup and I was like, oh, I really want to go because I was telling her. But then I was like, no, this is going to be too many people. Yeah. And then, and there's another reason, but like, we're not even going to go into it. I'm just like,
that's how I feel. Like, there's a reason why I don't want to go either. I'm just gonna watch and see pictures and be like, And
then you can have all the space at home. You can sit on your couch or wherever and read. I got you.
Yeah, and it's exhausting. I thought I was going to have a lot of time reading, like when I'm in my hotel room. By the time at the end of the day, I'm just going to go to sleep. Because then I have to up again the next day, and I was just like, no. And, but yeah, I mean, I'm okay with like the Wanderlust next year because it's only one day, and then it's like very small. I'm okay with that, and then I can visit everybody that I know in Austin. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, eventually, you can go somewhere like closer.
Yes, one day I will, and I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you guys.
There we go. Well, I have one more question for all of us to answer. Okay. What is one book that you would love to live in? Like, if there's one book you could live in.
One?
I said one.
Or series.
Or series. Okay. Oh, I did write or series. Thank you.
I have to think.
Oh, I'll go first. I'll give you a minute. I would live in. I know, because I'm the one that had time to think about it. I would live in. All right, this is going to sound funny. I would live in Five Brothers, the book by Penelope Douglas. I loved that book.
I have it, but I haven't read it yet. Did she really end up with five brothers?
No.
Oh, well, that sucks.
You can't title it Five
Not at once.
Like, get it.
I didn't. She doesn't read it.
Because I mean, if we're looking for brothers, might as well just read Sadie Kincaid's Ryan Ruthless. At least she ends up with all the brothers. So, I mean, I'm just saying. But I'm not. That's not the book. I'm like thinking. I feel like I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't live in it, but I mean, I would want to meet him because he's my favorite, like The Sinner by Chantel, because he's
No, you don't want to live in that book.
I don't.
You do not want to live in that book.
I don't want to live in it. I just want to meet him. But be like,
oh, unhinged.
But I love him. He's like, I feel like he's the best out of that series.
Okay, this innocent thing I thought, that's gone now.
I was like thinking to it, like when she said that to me too, I was just like, do I really look sweet and nice in my video? Maybe I should change.
You do though. You do.
But I was like, I mean, I would tell her though, it's like, well, I'm recommending a book. I should not be like a dickhole over like books when I'm recommending.
You just throw like a little like sentence enhancer. It'd be like, listen, fuckers, like this is the book.
Maybe I should change that and be like, nobody.
Hey, bitches, I'm gonna need you to read this book.
Can you imagine they're probably like, did she have like a personality change or something?
I would be like, what the fuck? You know, like, what has happened?
That would be a lot of views.
Then I'm like, go to my podcast and listen why. Because apparently people have this like thinking that I'm super nice. I'm like, not really, but yeah. But that's not the book. I'm like, you go for I'll think about more.
I think so. I can't pick just one. So mine would have to be the Stoneview series by Lola King because Nathan White is my husband. I love him. He is my man, and his brother Jake.
So we just share.
Yeah,
I know. That was so good.
Yes, and I love Lawless God because Nathan White he's just pure whatever. But I mean, Stoneview series obviously introduced me to him. And I love Jake so much. I love that. That series is like one of my top
Lola
favorites.
King world.
Yeah.
Lola King is amazing. I literally every single book I've read from her, I love her. I love her book so much.
Read first from her.
The first book I read was Beautiful Fiend.
Mm-hmm. Same. Like,
yep.
Then I went back to Stoneview stories, which is, I'm glad because if I read Stoneview stories first, I don't think I would have liked
Really?
Oh, okay.
A bitch. Yeah, she's a bitch.
Just like, I was like, thank God I already knew who she ended up with. Because you know, and I love Caden. I don't know why people are just like, I don't know.
He's like a healthy mixture of like the whole and, you know, sentimental in his own way, I guess. I don't know.
And like at the end, like his groveling. Like, come on. Like, the thing that he did, like, really? Like, you guys don't think it's that romantic? I mean, it's not.
Well, I mean, he didn't make her get on her knees in the beginning, you know what I mean?
But if you're reading the story, like, you know, he did.
Yeah.
he did do that. I know everybody loves Sai, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever. He's sweet, and
golden retriever though. Like he was the lovey one, you know what I mean? And
like if you've read Caden, and then you go to Sai, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's probably like, it was okay. Like, I know a lot of people were like raving about it. I was like, oh, okay, did I read the book right or not? I'm like scratching it. The third one was not my favorite, but that's because I didn't like Jade from Billy's book. So it's kind of like, I should have like waited to read that. But she kind of grew on me eventually, but I was just still like, I don't know about you. Okay.
Yeah. I definitely stayed like Delightful Sins. I was definitely there for the boys. For sure, for Ethan and Alia, because I was not a fan of Jade. Even reading the book, I was like, I get your story, but you're still a bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
what
like
you
Ethan
did.
Elliot.
What you did.
What you did. Yeah.
Right.
Like, how can you forgive her for, like, I get your story, lady, but like, you know, but yeah, like I love all of her books. Even her new one that just came out, Loving the Liar with Christopher. Christopher was literally one of my favorite characters.
Yes,
in the Stoneview series.
Yeah,
and I needed to know. Like I need to know like all about him. And then I read the novella, the like Merry Christmas, Dad from whatever. Yeah, and I was like, man, like,
well, I read that novella while I was reading Loving the Liar. Like when she referenced that book, I was like, okay, hold on, pausing Loving the Liar, and then went back and then read it. I was like, okay, good. Now I can go back and not be like wondering what happened in Christmas. But I was excited for Chris because in Stoneview stories, he's very different. Like, he's the nice, sweet one.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
you read
a manipulative motherfucker. That's what he is.
I gotta read that.
Loving the Liar, I was telling you, I was like, I don't know if I like him or I love him or hate him because it's like I'm confused. And I'm like just like up and down. I'm like, just give me one personality. Just do this. But when he does do sweet stuff, it was sweet, granted.
Yeah.
He's the cause of all of the things that he has to do. And then you get to like the end and be like, you fucking asshole. Like, you're the reason with all of this.
You can't help but just love him, though. It was like reading his story and like, the one thing I loved about that story in particular was when you're reading a lot of dark romance books, you're seeing a lot of like DV when it comes to the main female character. You're not seeing it with a main character, and seeing it, you're like, wow, you know what I mean? And I loved how she represented that. Like she represented that it's not just, women that get DV'd, men do also,
Yeah.
And it made my heart hurt. So like, I was like, okay, like we can justify why he's being manipulated, like, it's okay.
We're just going to justify all the things that he does to Ella and just like
ignore it. It's fine.
Also, in Chris' defense, like when you read Ella's point of view, she knows how toxic their relationship is. She knows how he is. She knows that he's manipulative. She knows all these things, and then but she still can't help herself. Like she has that push and pull, like, no, I don't want you kind of thing, or like, no, I'm done with you. And then he gets in her face and be like, fine, okay.
Yeah, she's like, I love you. No, go away.
I love you. Yeah. And I did like the ending for the fiance. Yeah. I don't like.
Don't ruin it for me.
Well, that's why I said. I just said like the ending.
No.
I didn't.
Now I'm gonna have to read it like soon.
Yeah, it was really good. Like I said, I love her book. I can definitely just devour her book. Like as soon as I get it, like I'll sign up for her arc, and as soon as I get it, that's what I'm dedicated to until I get it done. It's just her, she's definitely one of my auto-buy authors for sure.
Yeah. Well, and you know what you're getting into her. Like, you know that all
The
her
bully romance
main male characters are not gray, they're black. And nobody knows how to say sorry. Like, just know that there's no groveling in there. Like, if you're expecting groveling, you're reading the wrong book. Go find some groveling book.
Right.
Like, hers are not like, or just be like, yeah, I know I did something bad, whatever, but we're together. Like, we love each other. So I was like, oh my God. Like, well, I mean, perfect example. I know everybody hated Nathan in Stoneview Stories.
Not me. I love it.
I loved him in there. I was like, when is he gonna get his own book? Because I want to know what happens to him and all that stuff. Because like they would hint towards him throughout the other books, but until you actually read his story and be like, oh my God, like, and you know, like when you actually read the full story, I was like, oh, he wasn't like clueless about everything. Like, you know, like, but I did like his, I mean, I think they're perfect for each other, like him and Kayla, like the way there was one scene in there that made me cry because
there's a lot of scenes that made me cry.
No, I don't think one. It's that character that she made me love that character, and then and I'm just like, why?
I wasn't expecting that either. That was like a huge shock. Like I didn't know that there was going to be something like that in there. So when I read it, I was like, it's like one of those moments where you have to like put the book down and just like step away for a minute, you know?
I actually thought that
you get close to these characters, you know?
I thought I read it wrong. So I'm like, go back, reread the whole thing again, and I'm like,
wait, what?
I was like, why would you do this to me? And, you know, considering the relationship that person had to one of the characters, like that, I was just like, I mean, it made Kaden come back, I guess, or something like that. Like, I like the cameos, but yeah.
I love that too. I love, like, even, like, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I love that, like, even in Loving the Liar, you get to see some of the characters from the other books coming into, and, like, the part in the book, my favorite scene of the whole book, where you get to see these characters, I was bawling. I was just like, I just loved it. Like, she just wrote it so good, and it was just such a good scene.
Yeah. I loved it in there because it was like, they were not trying to kill each other. Because usually when they're around each other, they're like they're like pulling guns out, and I'm just like, geez, could you guys be at least like peacefully?
Wait, does Jamie's brother have a book?
Eventually, I think.
Oh,
dude,
it's
we
not out
interviewed
yet.
her. She said something about it.
Did she? That's why I was asking. I thought I remember something. Girl, you know I can't remember anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he would eventually.
Eventually, she had maybe a couple of other ones.
She's hinting towards that.
We need Jamie's brother's book. What's his name? I forgot. I don't know.
I can't remember. I'm really bad. Don't ask me for names because
But we need his book.
Yeah, I remember his name, but he's part of the Wolf.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, not wolves. But yeah. Who else is? I mean, I think almost everybody has a book, pretty much.
I want Luke's book. I mean, they tell a little bit about him in Loving the Liar.
Yeah.
But I definitely like. He's another one who's kind of, you know, seems like all sweet, but I feel like he has a side to him too that like we just need to know what it is, you know.
I'm sure it's like because he's very overprotective brother in this series, and he's not really part of the secret society as much. But I feel like he's gonna get immersed into it, and then it will be interesting to see who it would be. I still want to know about like the two best friends that are like, no, we're not together.
Achilles and Ren. Is that who it is?
Yeah. Was it Ren, the one that's Ren and the girl, one of the girls.
Oh, I forgot the girl's name.
Yeah. They keep like saying like, oh, we're not together.
Yeah. I need to know about, I think his name is Achilles.
Yes. He's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I need to know about him. And she actually put something up about something like that too. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need to know. Like, we need his story because I need to know. Like, he was very in the book, so.
Right. Well, and she hasn't really like announced who the characters are for the other books.
She's sneaky.
But she's like, we've met them. We've met them in Loving the Liar.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Achilles is going to have his own book.
And probably Ren.
And probably Ren. I just don't know who is it. Yeah, it is 3 books too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So that would be, I like that one. Who else is your auto-buy authors, I guess? Besides
mine?
And Harley.
Harley Beck, P.H. Nix. I love P.H. Nix. That's my other like favorite series is the Edgewood Academy Elite series. Mm-hmm. So good. I'm so sad it's not here anymore. It was such an amazing series. Who else? That's a great question.
Did do you know if P.H. Nix and Celeste are gonna have another book come out? Remember they had Wicked Games.
So they were supposed to have the second installment to that come out in October, but there has been a lot of like health issues and stuff that have been going on. So they did announce that it's going to be extended out. But I did notice that PH Nix is promoting Wicked Games quite a bit the last couple of days. So I'm wondering if maybe they're, getting into the process of that. I do know that PH Nix right now is writing her next series, which is part of Distorted Obsession, which is it's really good so far. Really good. So I'm excited. So super excited for that for everyone to read. So, but yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait for Wicked Games.
You need to finish Edgewood.
I haven't finished Edgewood yet.
Okay, this is funny because when you started reading it, I was like, oh, right, I haven't read the third book. And I was like, I'm going to wait until she like gets close to it. And I'm like, I totally forgot about it. And I'm just like, finish that third book. Yeah. Because was any of the characters in Distorted in the other series? Okay, so yeah, see, I can't read that then yet until I finish that other one.
Yeah, so characters from Edgewood make an appearance in Distorted.
I was just thinking.
It's not Sam.
Oh, no. I don't know if we could piece her back together.
Oh, cool. Yes, she died or something. Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I can edit that out.
No. Listen, not my problem. You didn't read it.
Yeah, look. I mean, like, as long as none of the main characters die, I'm okay.
Not in this book, not in that series, no.
Yeah, and that's why there's one series that I'm never going to finish. Okay? We talked about this. There's one series I'm never going to finish because my favorite.
There is a series I just finished where one of the characters, the main characters.
I feel like I know what you're talking about, and I feel like that's the one that I'm not going to finish.
Yeah, and I was waiting for this book for quite a while, and she released it and let everybody know, like, hey, I'm just letting you know, like, this, there's not, I mean, it's like, for me, it was like an HEA, non-HEA. So it's really sad what happens, but like, at the end of the book, it kind of, it doesn't work itself out because the person doesn't come back to life, but I mean, like, I don't know if you've read the book, Fabric of Our Souls.
Not yet.
No.
So like, the Phantom of Opera, I forgot her next book, what the next one is, but they get to see, like, they're in the kind of like afterlife and they get to see from the outside and like that's kind of what happened. So like, even though they're not there physically, like you still get to like get their POV from them being like, you know, I mean, it still sucks. It's not, it's definitely sad.
Yeah,
You'll cry. It'll break your heart.
I asked another person, she was like posting like, I'm bawling crying. And I'm just like, why is she bawling crying? So I like went to look at the blurb about it, and it says, you know, like unconventional happily ever after. So I messaged this person. It's like, can you just, like, after she read it, can you just tell me what happened? Like, I need to know who died. And I had a feeling that it was going to be my favorite character. And then she told me, and I'm just like...
Was that your favorite? See, that's the thing, though, is like the thing that I can't really say much, but the thing that like I think broke my heart the most was like through the series, that was my least favorite character.
All right.
But then in the third book, I fell in love with them. Only for them to be ripped away from me.
Yeah, I can't do that. See, I'm not reading it.
I loved him in the very beginning because I was just like, yes, but we all know it's a bully romance. He's gonna be a dickhole, but also he has a reason. Like, he has a reason why he is that way, especially when you read his point of view. So I was like, I knew like a lot of people hated him in book 1 and then book 2, and then, you know, in book 2 they added that other guy, and I'm just like, and I was telling the girl that I messaged, like, why couldn't it just be that other guy that they added like last minute? Like, just get him off, like, whatever. But then I was like, well, it's a fan favorite. I don't fucking care. Like, he was like last minute addition. He can vote. So, like, but and then, you know, like the way I guess he, you know, died and stuff like that. I was just like,
that was the hard part.
Yeah, and I'm just like, because like she was telling me about it, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I can't. Now I can't read it. Like, I can't, because I can't. And then I'm just like, no. Like, of all the people that you could kill, like him. Like, why him? Like, so, yeah. I mean, I heard there's still like a, you know, like the happy ever after for the rest, but
yeah, it was definitely like
you. Not for me.
Like I said, it was like a, like I would consider it like a non-HEA HE. Like, I don't know if you've ever read Torment, but like Torment was like a non-HEA HEA. Like, it was just
Dylan Page.
Yes,
that was so fucking good.
Yeah, I still cry every time I hear that damn song. I just bawl my eyes out because it was like at the end you're
that
like,
end was so I bawled. Like, even though he was fucked. My heart broke for him.
Is this a series?
It's a duet.
Yeah,
Torment duet by Dylan Page.
It's a taboo, just so you know.
No blood. No blood. No blood.
I was like, I was like writing it down, and then I'm like, like,
Thank you. It was really good.
So,
it was so good.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. So,
well,
yeah.
You didn't answer the question.
You.
I didn't. Oh, me. Yeah. I'll probably. Oh, I don't know. I was going to say Selena's one, but I was just like, wait, you haven't read them, so I don't know why you're making that expression.
Because you said they were like really dark. Okay, obviously,
not the twin. It was the very first series, which was Bully Me, Betray Me, because that's still like sweet-ish. It wasn't too bad. The twin brothers was like, I'm not, because it's like by book 2 of that twin brother, I wanted to like kick him or kill him, stab him because of what he did. That's like where I started like going to like the dark one. So, but Selena's is a good one. I think that, or these are all like high schooly things because I feel like I need to redo my high school.
Oh, same girl, same. Same.
We all survive this, people.
Right.
High school bully romance. Yeah, that or oh my gosh, what was that one? Sick Boys by Lucy Smoke. Have you read those?
No.
They're college. That one's a college bully romance. It's a good series. It's Sick Boys. or
I haven't heard of it. I'll have to look it up.
King of Cypress Point series, which I'm rereading right now. So I like bully romance, but
I like bully romance too.
Yeah, same.
yeah, but I feel like they only work in like high school or college.
Setting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think they would work when they're older, because then I'd be like, you're like a child. So don't do that. Like if it's like adult ones, it's like always gonna be mafia and then age gap. That's it. But
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode.
I love it. I had so much fun. Thank you guys so
We
much
are
for
so
having me.
glad
yeah, we
that we were able to get you on the episode. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I did
See,
too.
you could be unfiltered.
I know, right? It was amazing.
We don't get banned. We don't get kicked off or
No.
anything like that. You can
Nice.
So well, you're definitely coming back with the door.
Yes,
I'm excited.
That's what we'll do. And we'll definitely talk about that. Maybe I'll even squeak in balloon penis over there. See, just in case we need a couple to talk balloon.
You should. I don't know. Am I allowed to show stuff?
Yes.
Yeah,
you can.
sure.
Can I show NSFW pictures?
Yes.
It's funny because
Oh, yeah, because this isn't going anywhere. Just the voices will be on the podcast. Oh, I can't see. Are those balloon animals? Oh, my
okay.
God.
I can see it.
Oh, my God. It's wild. It's wild.
Okay.
Love it.
It's an MMF is what it is.
Oh, MS.
Okay.
It's a MMF paranormal romance that'll blow your mind.
That is awesome.
What was the title again?
Squeak.
Oh, Squeak.
Yeah, it's
I should just send this to my husband. Like,
What do you think?
the book, and he's probably like, "The fuck are you reading?"
Oh my God.
I mean, just like, okay, just telling my husband, like, wait, do you need to like do your spiel at the end?
Yes,
And then
thank
we can
you.
stop
Hold
the
on.
recording, and then we can still.
You're going to have to edit this now.
I got to your spiel.
Okay. So be sure to follow us on our socials and make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any of our episodes. If you have any authors you'd like to see on our podcast, you can DM us on Instagram. Well, that's it. See you next time.
See ya.